Hi, everyone. My name is Joanne Rishpan Harris, and this is the Mrs. Knapp Show. Today, we welcome to our studio Maritza Ridgle, right? Ridgle?
Oh,
Am I right?
yes, perfect.
She works for Nuclear Care Partners. Now, Marissa, I'm going to play a little video because when I think about this stuff, I
Yeah.
think about the test video. So this is a little different, but I'm going to share my screen with everyone and I'm going to play you this video now. And hang on a second. I'm going to try. Hang on. There we go. All right, here we go. So that basically is just a little bit of it. If everybody wants to watch it in the future, they can watch it on Smithsonian for the Nevada test site. You can look up that video. So, Maritza, how on earth did you get involved with Nuclear Care Partners?
Well, a few years ago, I was working in hospice and I was a business development rep. So, as a business development rep, I went to different places to find patients or potential patients. I ran into Nuclear Care Partners. I went in there, I was very curious. I ended up developing a relationship with the people there. I spoke with the director, the nurse that's there, their community outreach manager, and I learned that they are getting benefits to people who used to work at the Nevada test site. There's over 380 sites over the United States, but here in Nevada, we have Nevada test site and the Tonopah test range. When they let me know that they give care to these people who I call unsung heroes to help protect our nation, I thought, oh, this is wonderful. We're already lacking enough healthcare in the state of Nevada. Why are they are able to help so many people? I thought this was great. So I partnered with them. The company I worked with partnered with Nuclear Care Partners. We fast forward a few years and they're asking me would I like to work for the company? And I said, I don't know. My heart is at hospice care. But then they asked again, and I thought, why not? Why not help the community the best way I can by outreaching, talking to people, letting others know about our program and how we can help them and serve them.
So I was reading in this materials that you gave me previously. One of them is this sheet here.
Oh, we can't
Um,
see it.
can't see it.
Yeah, because of the background.
Yeah, okay. So,
Let
all
me
right. So,
let me see what's
all right. basically it's caring for former atomic and Nevada test site workers. So some of the qualifying illnesses and conditions are cancer, lung diseases, neurological issues, kidney issues. Um, so how does that work exactly? Like, I'm working at a nuclear test site, or did. As a result, I got sick. Um, how do they begin the process of coming to you, for example, to help them? And what exactly do you do for them?
So I'm a community outreach manager for Nuclear Care Partners. So my job is to outreach, educate as many facilities, physicians, patients, or future patients, I like to call them heroes, about the actual program. A person who used to work at the test site, all they have to do is reach out to me, call me on my phone and say, I used to work there at the test site and I was just diagnosed with this. Or I used to work out there. I don't know if I'm sick, or if I have an illness from working there. Can you help me? That's all you have to ask, and I will do everything I can to help. A lot of people that worked at the Nevada test site have a lot of pulmonary issues. So with that, we do help with the screening to find out which exact pulmonary issue they will qualify for the program. And it also depends on how many years they used to work there and exactly what areas of the test site they worked at, because it'll help determine which benefit will come to them.
That's interesting. So, when you are working, is this is a government program, correct?
Definitely. So former employees of the Nevada test site are, hold on, back that up. Former employees of the Department of Energy who were
Drink that coffee.
contracted. So that were
Hmm.
So former employees of the Department of Energies who were subcontracted, these are the people who actually qualify for the program. So there are some people who worked at the Nevada test site under the Department of Defense. They don't qualify because it only covers people who were employed under the Department of Energy. It's, it's because this is a workers' comp program for the former energy workers. And what we'll do is ensure that that employee that they worked for was one of those employees that qualify for the program. Most people know it was Rico, EG&G, Bechtel, Nevada. Say those names, people say, "Oh yes, I did work for them." There were so many people like trucking industry, drillers, electricians, people from the union, former and current union employees. These are the people that we seek and that we can help.
So, when they come to you, I guess they're bound by uh, paper that says that they can't talk about what they did at the nuclear test site. And that sort of
Certainly.
conjures up, like, Area 51 and secret,
Yes.
aliens
Yeah.
and stuff. I sort of lump
Yes.
them together, right? So I
True.
see in my mind that kind of thing. So they're not allowed to tell you exactly what they did, but they are allowed to tell you that they worked at a particular facility, right?
They can tell us which exact site they worked. It's really important that we know what site they worked and what their job title was and who they worked for, because they have to link all of those things together to indeed find out which chemicals they were exposed to that could cause potential illness. Because we're covering the illness, not the full body, we need to know what part of the bodies could be affected by any of the toxic exposure chemicals they were exposed to.
So, for example, if they have lung disease, then that is what you're going to cover, that particular part, correct?
Yes, what we'll do is see, there's so many different lung diseases. It could be acute silicosis, it could be pneumoconiosis, asthma, emphysema, COPD. Like we already know those. Those are pretty simple, right?
Right.
And then a lot of these illnesses will cause other consequential illnesses and comorbidities, which could include cardiac issues, sleep apnea, neuropathy. Parkinson's disease, dementia. There's so many different things. So once we put one condition, your initial illness on the card, we can add any additional subsequent illness from the time your first illness is diagnosed.
So what's the average demographic of people that you see come through your office?
At this point, we're seeing a lot of seniors. We're seeing people from the age of ooh,
Yeah, we got a
50.
little freeze going on here.
Okay.
Not sure why.
You're frozen. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can
Can
you,
you?
am I moving? I can hear
Yes.
you. And there you are. You're back.
Yeah.
The demographics that we see can be anywhere from a 50-year-old to a 100-year-old. People
Oh,
who
okay.
worked out because the test site, I don't want to say 1950, and
Okay.
all the way it's currently in operation, but not as it was before. Of course, they're not openly testing anything, but people are exposed. There's lots of wind out there. There's a lot of dust, silica dust, and people get ill from inhaling those the dust and those particles in their lungs. So definitely it can be anyone. And we have people who worked as housekeepers, cooks, office people, not only those who worked in the tunnels, who worked above the tunnels, who worked anywhere. As you saw in that video, you saw people drilling. Those are the people we seek. We see people on top, just anywhere, even
Mhm.
people who were there watching the explosion and were inhaling the dust. They are definitely people who might be affected by being there for a prolonged period of time, because some people, depends on where you work. For like the Tonopah test range, for example, you have to work there for 250 plus days
Mhm.
to
In order to get the benefits, right?
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. And
There are
you
some people
mentioned,
who
go
I'm
ahead.
sorry.
No,
There's some
go ahead.
people who did overnights. So if they stayed overnights, it gets counted for 3 times the length of time that it counts 3 times for one day. I don't know how to say that, but yeah,
So you think, I mean, again, this sort of conjures up things in my mind, conspiracies and whatnot. But, it, we know that nuclear waste hangs around for a long time. Do you think it's still present in the air around here? I mean, if you don't want to answer that, that's fine. But I want to
we'll see.
ask a probing question here.
Well, seeing as how I'm not a scientist or I don't
Right,
know. We don't know. It's far
right,
enough out of town, but who knows? We can't say yes. We can't. I wouldn't be the person to say definitely watch how we're breathing because we don't know.
right. Yeah,
But I know
that's
those
true.
who worked in the area were exposed.
So, you are particularly looking for people to come to you. Is that correct?
You went mute.
I did. Okay. Can you? Oh, that's odd. Hang on. Can you hear me now? You can. You can
Okay,
hear
now I
me?
can hear you. Yes.
Okay. Okay. We're having fun
You
this
said
morning,
you
aren't
are
we?
you said you are particularly, and I didn't hear anything else.
So you had mentioned to me in the past when I first met you that you were looking for um, people to come to you because you think that there's a lot more people, not even nationally, who could benefit from your organization, right?
Definitely. So first and foremost, Nuclear Care Partners is a home care company. We provide nursing, skilled nursing, CNA, LPN care to those who actually need care in the home, which I find to be absolutely amazing. We have people who relocate to Nevada from other states, New Mexico, California, Tennessee. We can go Hawaii, Florida, Idaho, and Washington, the state of Washington. A lot of these people worked in certain places. Right now, we're discussing Nevada test site because we are in Nevada. However, there's so many different locations. Y12, um, I can't think of the name of all the different places, but people who were former defense workers, they know who they are. And I'm sorry, for former energy Department of Energy workers, they know who they are and they know what they've done. And they were very much exposed to a lot of different chemicals. So we do help them. And any type of mine workers who worked in the mines prior to 1972
Mhm.
also will cover them for any type of digging for mine and ore workers and drilling as well.
So I
So
think you mentioned something about there was 300 test sites across the country. Is that
over
right?
380,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes, throughout the
Yeah.
country. So they're not. So we have two test sites. There were actually two test sites. The other places are like laboratories, and they all work together to build the nuclear weapon, and they test them in certain areas. They used to test them in certain areas, and it was just Nevada was one of the big ones, Hawaii, and mm, one other place, and I can't think of it off the top of my head. There are three places they did test, but definitely here. So, which is why we are focusing on those who probably are still here or anyone who relocated here from other places. In Colorado is another place. So there's so many different states. Our company, we service 21 states. So
Mhm.
we try to focus on the areas where the population is most covered by the Department of Energy, who were former employees of these places, so that we can give the service and the care that they deserve.
That's
We help
fantastic, it really
we
is.
Thank you. We truly, what we do is we start from the beginning and we start with getting the benefit, the actual white card. It's very important that they get the DOL white card. And how we start the process is by ensuring that they qualify. Once we get them qualified, we assign them with an authorized representative who can help them navigate their claim to the Department of Labor. Once we get that claim started and going and they actually get approved, then we help navigate all the various benefits that the Department of Labor's white card can bring to them for their particular illness. This includes hospitalizations for the illness, treatment, surgeries, clinic visits, uh, their their medications, the durable medical equipment. I was going to say DME. Now remember, everyone don't know what that is, but durable medical equipment, oxygen
Mhm.
they would need for their homes, sleep apnea, so they can get their apnea machines covered, and then we cover the home care, in home care, and that
Oh,
is definitely the nurses, RN if needed, CNA, and we even pay the family to be caregivers if the Department of Labor says, yes, they need this much more care, and you have a loved one in the home who's caring for you, then you would be a caregiver and they are would be an employee of Nevada of us of Nuclear Care Partners, and we can definitely use all the help we can get with any type of nursing that because we have a lot of patients who need our care. And there's also a lot of people, and I thank you for having me on this, because there are so many people who did work in these places and had no idea about this program.
yeah.
And the program, it's called the EEOICPA, and that's the Energy Employees Occupational Illness Program.
Okay. That's great to know. Now, tell me, do you have military people also who might have co-insurances like TRICARE, or VA or any of these insurances?
Yeah, thank you for asking that.
Mhm.
We do have lots of veterans because a lot of people served our country, right? And then they
Mhm.
came here, needed a job, and they continue to serve our country
Right.
by assisting with this. And of course, it does not interfere with the VA benefit, any or your Medicare or Medicaid. It does not interfere because those take care of the entire body, where we are caring for one particular illness, not an injury, just an illness. So if that illness happens to be your lungs, you have a whole rest of your body that needs to be taken care of. So it doesn't take the place of caring for other parts of your body, but it does specifically help for the part of your bodies that are affected, which is why we add consequential illnesses on the card as time goes on.
So how long has this program been there, I guess, with
It Yeah, it was like in 2000. Don't get me to line. I know it was when President Bush and Clinton were in office. That was right there around that time when they switched over. That is when Congress put this in act. So it is actually something that is on the books legally. They realize that people put their lives in danger. It can be anywhere 10,000 people in the tunnel at any given day. So there's a lot of people who were affected and who are ill, and they want to make sure that they are covered because there is also a they get a financial compensation. And
Oh,
I tell everyone that the financial money comes and goes, but the
yes.
medical portion is what we need for the rest of our lives. So
Mhm.
they can get up to $400,000. So if
Oh,
a
wow.
person reach out to me, talk to me, I can give them the information, find out if they qualify, what they qualify for, and we start the process because it takes about 6 months to a year to even get approved. So with that being said, anyone who says, I feel healthy, I'm good, I don't need anything now, I would hate for when you do need us and you need the care urgently and it takes so long just to get a person approved. I would like to be there now rather than later. And better to be safe than sorry.
So it's kind of like you sort of do what I do sometimes, and help people navigating through this one program. And I think that's a terrific thing. I did before I met you, never heard of anything like that before. I was like,
Yes.
what?
And they do.
Yeah.
I can tell a story. I can give a testimony of a story of how great
Okay.
this company is.
Mm.
Years ago, and this is when I was in hospice, I met a guy he was in a facility and they said,
Mhm.
okay, put him on hospice because we don't know what else to do with him. This poor guy. And he has a strange card and we don't know what to do with it. And I saw what strange card, and I saw it was the white card. And
Mhm.
through my association with knowing of Nuclear Care Partners, I jumped all on it and I said, this guy needs help. They assessed him. He was able to go home with 24-hour RN care, an additional 12-hour CNA care, round the clock care, great quality of care, and he lived his best life. And then he lived there at home for the rest of his days. So the goal here is to make sure everyone can stay at home, age in place. Who wants to go live at a skilled nursing facility
Yeah.
or a assisted living when the home that you worked hard for to build and you have your family and your memories there? Why would you want to leave somewhere that's unfamiliar when you can stay at home and we can bring that care directly to the person?
Yeah, that's fantastic, really. There are advantages, of course, to skilled care, but rather than being in an institutional area, you're in your own home, and I think that's fantastic.
Yes.
So, lastly, I wanted to know if you felt like how you feel about doing this as a community service in a way. Does it give you pride? Does it make you feel good while you're doing your job?
It brings me joy. I don't feel like I'm working. And I'm so glad you asked me that. Every day I try to figure out how do I find the next person? What place can I go? What little corner do I need to find someone? If I find one person and doing an entire event, it brings me so much joy to know that I can help someone. Um, I'm in the process of trying to stop being a person who's working and being someone who enjoys what she does, serving the community, educating the community, the
Mhm.
medical profession. It's in my heart. I love what I do. I care. I go the extra, and it's because of this. This is not something that happens overnight. You have to have patience. I go to people's homes to talk to them. They don't just have to come see me in the office. I'll go to you because I want to help and I love to help. And it brings me a sense of satisfaction and joy. So to me, this isn't a job. I'm glad I get paid for it because I do need to pay for a place, a
Yes,
roof over my head. However,
yes,
it does bring me joy. And meeting the people who help defend our nation brings me the best joy ever. And I am meeting so many heroes and the things that they did to protect our nation. I had no idea, just like you. I had no idea until I ran upon Nuclear Care Partners years and years ago. And I respect every man and woman who did go out there and do the unselfish job of defending our nation. They unknowingly put themselves at harm because we didn't know. I mean, they were out there trying to
yeah,
figure out what to do to come. They didn't know.
yeah, yeah, that's right. That's true. So, well, good for you. I want to thank you, Marissa, for being on our show, and maybe we can follow up with you at the end of the year, see how you're doing. Um,
Definitely.
I have to read this little disclaimer. As always, this show is for educational and informational purposes only. I'm not a medical professional, and if you have any emergencies, please call 911 in your area or in your country. For more shows, please visit us at our Facebook page at Advice Dear Mrs. Knapp or on our website where you can sign up for our newsletter and receive a free provider booklet to help you when you go for your yearly visit. Our website is www.bluebirdhealthadvocates.com. And I'm wishing all of you a sunny day. And to you, Maritza, until our next episode, my name is Joanne Rishpan Harris, signing off for the Mrs. Knapp Show. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.